What's up, YouTube? It's FitzBro, and we are going to do our new tier list for Ranked Season 2 of Age of Empires 4. That new patch came out yesterday with dozens of billions and dozens of changes, and the new season for Age of Empires is dropping tomorrow, or maybe today, depending on when I posted this. So, we're going to do a new tier list. I'm going to go through each civilization. We've got Twitch chat here saying hello, and we're going to kind of make our best estimate here. And then I'll go back through and adjust things at the end. So that's how I typically do my tier list, is we kind of go through, get an approximate, and then make a fine tuning. And as always, if you're tuning into this, make sure you're also followed over on twitch.tv/FitzBro and join us in the Discord link down below. I have individual civilizations, breakouts for each of the civs here. I'll show you. So if you play Abbasid and you want to talk to like-minded Abbasid folk, there you go. China, Delhi, whatever it is. So make sure you get involved over there in the Discord. Okay, let's do this bad boy. Oh, look at the first one on the list. The Abbasid dynasty. Now, this is just my prediction of how it feels from, a day or two of playing on the new patch. And we'll probably make a new tier list after maybe a month, maybe some more meta, maybe a few weeks. We'll have to see. But here we go. The Abbasid dynasty. It's obviously my favorite civilization. So I might have a biased opinion on the civilization. In general, they got a nice little buff to their golden age. But a thing that also seems interesting is with the siege rework, I feel like overall siege has been really massively nerfed. So one of their advantages was like building siege out in the field. Well, you sit there and you spend forever building this mangonel, and like two horsemen just like poke it and it's gone. And yes, they're like, well, just make all the spearmen that they're so good at and defend it. Sure, I've done like purely spearmen, and I'm just telling you, they get around you. You get one slow mangonel behind your army, boom, it's gone. So that's one of their kind of civ advantages. I also find that there's many civilizations that just boom better than you. Like the French can drop 2 TC, the HRE can go to H3 or H4 and print all their villagers. They can sit in base, they can go 2 TC. I think there's a lot of civs that can just match what is supposed to be your civ bonus. Now you pay for less for villagers, but the Abbasid, I'm going to put them, I think they're in A or B territory. They're definitely not S tier. And honestly, my gut reaction is that they might lean towards B. Chat, let me see, B's or A's, where do you think this should go? This might become when we come back and we adjust. And I like to adjust this in relative to other civilizations. So it's like, I don't want every civ to be in one tier. I want it to be different. Chat seems to be definitively on the B tier. So I'm going to go with that gut reaction. Now, my Delhi, might be A or S tier, but I think Delhi is likely somewhere in the B category. I think they're a little map dependent depending on the berries. Some maps don't have a ton of berries around your town center. Now, there are some water maps with ponds that are going to be closer to you, which I think is maybe a little bit of an advantage for Delhi because they don't excel on the mid-water, like river, like Mongolian Heights, but they are pretty good on a map like Nagari that's got a corner pond or Ancient Spires. But okay, we're going to leave them there. Let's go on to our next civilization. We have the Chinese. Now, the Chinese have had a huge rework, and honestly, I really feel like out of all the civilizations, this one's going to be too hard, to tell really right now until we get more data points, because they've had a lot of changes. I have not actually seen many people playing the civ on the ladder yet, and I have not personally played them since the new patch. But thinking about a few things that have changed for them, they've had their villages are now cheaper to make, so that's pretty cool. There's been a reworked a few of their dynasties, such as the fact that when the dynasty units die, they give buff to nearby units. The IA is so much better now. I've only seen their Imperial hand cannoneers are bananas in team games. Yeah, that could be. I imagine China's a good civ. I'm gonna, for now, I think they're probably B or A tier is my gut. I'd almost say A, because I just feel like they tend to go the distance a little further than Abbasid do. At the very least, Abbasid's got one landmark to snipe. I saves your 3 to 5 vills dependent, and that's early game. Yeah, Imperial. Yeah, very, very good point. With your Imperial official, now you can trade them out of the landmark, so you don't have to idle your villager, so you can have more villager boom. I think they're probably an A tier. I'm gonna put them. Okay, on to the Delhi Sultanate. Easy. Definite, guys. No question about it. Elephants are bonkers right now. They're ridiculous. And mark my words, you come back and you clip this, elephants are going to be nerfed. And it's not because I have insider knowledge. I just know they're just crazy. They're crazy. They don't have any real counters. They're just now the elephants scale with the upgrades. Yeah, they got less HP. Whoop-de-doo. Now they do more damage to you. I think Delhi is just amazing. So I'm gonna put the Delhi Sultanate at S tier. Not to mention, I felt like Delhi's one of their biggest weaknesses a lot of times was Mongols, which is a less of a threat now as less people are picking them. Okay, that was the easy one. You know I like Delhi, but S tier, where they're gonna go. For now. When the elephant nerf inevitably happens, we'll see. The English. Okay, so the English got a little bit of a buff on water, right? So that is one thing to consider. I'm trying to think of other changes that kind of on the wayside affected English. Now, Rams have less HP, but like the damage system is different, right? So it's easier to charge a Ram and take them out with Horsemen if you're doing some kind of like H2 alt-N. They're still a really good, I think they're pretty good late game civilization still. I mean, one of the best in the game. So I don't think they could go anywhere less than A. I don't think they're S tier, but I think English is still a really good civilization. Towers have less range, which you say, oh, that impacts the arrow that's going to impact them. But at the same time, towers, defensive towers now don't outrange the longbows. They have the exact same range as a longbow. So those defensive towers you put to try to defend yourself, those longbows can just poke in for a second, shoot your villager, and pop out and take like maybe one hit. And I think that's something to consider. Not to mention they've got landmarks that are keeps and don't cost stone to repair, which is a big thing right now in the meta, right? Your castle's now going to cost stone to repair. If they do their keep landmarks, you don't have to deal with that. They can also, if they do 2 TC in H2, they're really good, and then they can even drop a third one when they go up with their landmark. So I'm happy to stick them with A. Some people think B. We can come back and discuss it, but I think I'm pretty confident with them going there. Okay, on to the French. Okay, so here's the question for French, right? They're A or S tier, right? Let's see. They've got a nerf to chivalry, which, like, whoop-de-doo, I don't think is a whole lot. But they got a buff to some of their late-game landmarks that were already popular. I don't think they're S tier just because I think the S tier is reserved for some civilizations that I know we're going to go there. I think they're absolutely A. They're not B. They're definitely not C or D. They're a solid A tier civ, and there's not really a whole lot. They've just always been good. Hawks are still great, you know, on a water matchup of sorts. They're villagers. They can do 2 TC, put heavy fuel pressure. They go long in the late game. I think they're definitely an A tier. Now, I said I was reserving the S tier HRE. Honestly, if there was like an S triple plus tier, that's where I put HRE right now, above Delhi. I mean, if we wanted to even things out, we would say like this, right? I think would be what we would go with. But I think it's fair to say this is probably where it is. Now you say, FitzBro, how can there be so many, such high civilizations now? Well, I think this is due in credit to the developers doing a good job of, they said they didn't want to nerf civs, they wanted to bring other civilizations up, and that's what we've seen, with the exception of the Mongols. So a lot of these civs have gotten closer in their power levels. That's for sure. Okay, so HRE, why are they S tier? Well, their prelate now. One thing, there's a bug with the prelate. If you attack me with it, it will super fast heal or inspire all the villagers like with no cooldown. You can attack move with prelates, and it'll give that that inspiration and that healing. So that's a big thing. The Regis Cathedral is just crazy. They just always go straight to H3, grab the relics, put them inside, and then they've got all this gold. And then if they get to H4, they can print villagers. They've got the auto repair, which is super, super good. They're basically like good luck trying to push them in the second age. They're going to get to H3 most likely. They've got late game. They can just print those villagers out. So many good things. There's also because of the auto repair and the thing I told you about stone, right? Keeps coming stone. If they can keep their network together as they creep, they can repair their keeps with the auto repair without paying stone, which we saw BCQ do in the tournament last weekend. So definitely be good. Tarek says Delhi's above the Holy Roman Empire. I think that's debatable. I think it's debatable because I also think that like Delhi's strength is like that elephant, which I think is like clearly probably going to get nerfed, and I don't think the same is going to happen to Holy Roly Empire. Let's go on to the Mongols. Now the Mongols towers have been nerfed. Tower rushes keeps being is less viable for them now. They just don't seem to stand out without they kind of need the towers out on the field. Without doing that, that's kind of their early game kind of nullified. And when you got a lot of civilizations that are really good at getting up to castle age and turtling up and going multiple town centers, Mongols just feels okay. Are they seared? I think they're in this range, to be honest. Are they weaker than the Abbasid dynasty? I mean, that's still a hard question. They weren't affected by like the keep changes. But the cruel attack got in buff. It's not like you're using that anyways. I don't know. I'm not sure. I know there's been people who have said that Mongols is complete trash now. I'm not sure it's complete trash. Like I don't really know if it should be C or D. Like I think it's like a B minus. But chat, what do you think? Where should Mongols go? Because I'm kind of torn on them right now. Where should the Mongolian Empire go? Mongol C, says Dr. Daps, and GLJ says Mongol C. Zypher says Mongol C. Okay, people have spoken. That's where it is. We'll do another pass on this. Their main gimmick doesn't work. Yeah, that was like their big thing. So it'll be interesting to see how Mongols changes, but I can't say I'm super sad to see this after they've just been so oppressive for all these months. I'm glad to see people playing other civs. I'm not happy with like how these civs feel. I feel like it's overtuned right now. We're gonna see a lot of them in the tournaments this weekend, which I am casting Road to Red Bull Lolo on EGC TV Saturday and Sunday, so make sure you tune in for that. And last but not least, we have the Rus. They've got a number of buffs. They also can now attack move with their warrior monk. Their landmarks got buffed. They've also got stone walls down in late game. I think they're a good civ. I think this is the thing is A tier. I think Rus is A tier. They've got knights in the second age. They can buy their second town center, do a big boom, do a big feudal push. They can sit back, boom up, go into that late game. Now they get stone walls. I think there's a lot of different strategies you can do with them, whether you want to go fast castle or you want to go feudal all in, multi-town center, go super late into the late game. Having those, I think a lot of the siege units are pretty shitty now that they're so easy to pop, and they've got the best springolds in the game as far as range goes. A tier is probably France, Rus, China, England. Yeah, so let's go do another passover on this. This is where I think I have this. And honestly, usually I go back through and make some adjustments, but I think I'm pretty happy with this. If you've got a case for something to be moved, now is the time to make it in the chat. But I think this is it. I think like this is easy it. France B says hot dog. AoE's top players in English trash now because their castle sucks and they are predictable. English is much worse than any other A tier. Okay, so there's arguments made that English is worse than the other A tier civs. Because of their castle age? Why is their castle age specifically worse? French Rus maybe ahead of Chinese English. Yeah. Or is this what should really happen here? Should it be like this? Is that what you think might be what we're feeling? Maybe we move everything down a little bit. If we were gonna have an adjusted scale here. I don't like seeing Abbasid and C. Mongols A tier, says Darth Bank. China ahead of England. Yeah, I would agree. I mean, are they at the same power level? Honestly, I would say maybe Abbasid are about there. Yeah, I think honestly I think a lot of this is very close, guys. I think like if we were doing like a point scale, like some of these are just like very slightly up one way or the other. But chat, like as far as we've got Delhi and HRE on top, followed by the Rus and French, followed by China and Abbasid. I mean, I think maybe one of these could go up ahead of the other. I mean, I think like right around here, it's very close together. And then we've got Mongols on the bottom. So I think this is going to be the tier list that I'm going to stick with. So those of you over on YouTube, let me know if I got it right or what I got wrong and why. And for those of you on Twitch, you can rage at me in the chat. But as always, make sure you hit that sub button over on YouTube. Leave me a comment, and I'll see you guys over in the next one.